We have here 2 hours for absence, so we have a form with 2 hour praise. United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Everybody do their colors, we'll do a prayer. Father God in heaven, we come to you this evening and thanking you most of all, Father, for your Son Jesus, for the great sacrifice that he made for each and every one of us, Father, that we all may have hopes of eternal life with you. Thank you, Father, for this day that we can gather here, Father, and come together and discuss this business and the county and the first responders, and pray, Father, that the things that we do here will be pleasing to you. Pray, Father, that you will be with the first responders here, those all over, Father. Pray that you will watch over them, let them be safe. Pray that you will return them to their families safe, and pray that you will watch over them and everything they do. Father, pray that you will again be with us here tonight in this meeting. Pray that everything will run smooth. And all these things we ask, it's in your Son's name. Amen. Then we have one for public comment. Michael Lockwood, am I saying that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can come on up.
I think Mr. Smith just wanted to introduce ourselves. We're, I believe, on one of the agenda items y'all are going to discuss later. So I'm Michael Lockwood. I'm with Daily Wells Communications, Upstreet Harris distributor. I have with me Thomas Parkinson as well.
Okay, great. That's all. Good. We may have questions for you then when we get to that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why we're here, sir.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Appreciate it. We'll call emergency services. Let's see. 980 North. Yes, ma'am.
3 runs, call hours 18.25, training hours are 18, 36.25 hours total.
How many total, ma'am?
36.25.
Bear Creek. You got 103 station hours, 30 runs, 251 run hours, for 354. So, what was your total? 354. Thank you. Camilla? Nobody here from Camilla?
They had 2 calls, 2 call hours, 25 other, for a total of 27.
Cape area.
We had 5 calls, 39 call hours, 143 other hours, total of 182.
182. Thanks very much. Cold Spring.
We had 13 calls for 45 hours, 440 other hours, for a total of 485.
485. Oakhurst.
We had 3 calls for a total of 29 hours. We had 102 total. 100,
how much total?
102. 73 other hours.
Point Blank.
Yes, sir, we had 20 calls, call hours was 86, other training hours was 28, total of 114.
Thank you. Pumpkin.
We had a total of 24 calls for 76.5 $367.75 for a total of $443.92. To add to that, I've been working with the other fire chiefs to standardize our reporting to you guys, so you guys start seeing changes. So all the departments, I think most of us have agreed. I don't know if they sent it in this month or we just met. We shared a ESO insight, because ESO has gone to a new reporting software, so that the ESD, you guys, you want to turn it off, and then they want to see each one of our reports that all look the same, so that you guys can see what we got, what we're doing, what we're not doing, and so on and so forth. But we give you all the information that you guys asked for on that piece of paper broke down, and then some. So you'll have all the information, incident types, incident hours, personnel, who was on what call, who was on, who did what category of the day, so you guys can have a better record of all. So.
Thanks, we appreciate it. Shepherd.
36 calls, 169 call hours, 248 hours,
109?
Yes, sir.
What was your other?
I'm sorry?
What was the other? The other hours? How hours are the other hours? 40?
240.
Yes.
And what was the run house?
Run hours, 169.
Ms. Caitlin, your turn.
52 calls ran, 104 call hours, other hours for 187, for a total of 291.
Thank you, man. I listen slower than you talk. What was the other?
Other hours, 187.
Thank you. Okay, review and approve minutes of the prior meeting. You got the minutes in front of you for September's meeting.
September 15th, 2025, and there are no changes from when they were emailed to you previously.
I move we approve. Got a motion to approve.
A second.
Got a second. All in favor? 3-0. Receive and approve financial results.
Alright, the financial report in your packet shows the county taxes reflected 101.2% of the budgeted amount in 11 months. The budget summary has been updated along with the contingency and unbudgeted revenue. There's no reason why the interest for Texas class is highlighted. I'm not sure why that happens. The checking account and the sales tax accounts were both reconciled. The district has been updated. We have some housekeeping that we need to do within line items, but we're still waiting on some changes to how the agenda has to be filed whenever there's a change to the budget, and so that's why we're kind of waiting on that. EMS has been updated, and DFDL in Title 3. The VFDs have been updated, and the approved items, the contingency, and the credit card breakdown are attached. There have been no changes since these were emailed to you previously.
What was the office supply and phone and road?
So, the office supply and phone was originally budgeted just for my office, but now it has taken on the things that the office needs, that Bryant needs, that we had to buy a computer for Bryant, and then as well as for a training computer. We just have a lot of extra, and then all the part-time temporary help.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So there's been a lot of things come out of that we're not used to coming out.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Bruce. And
And we will hopefully be adding some line items to the budget for 2026 that will clean some of that up where it separates office supplies from supplies for the duty crew and any part-time help.
Okay, thanks, I appreciate it.
And Commissioner Russell had pointed out that the duty crew payroll on the checking account summary is blank, and that's because they didn't receive their first paycheck until October 1st, so it wouldn't be on here. But I put it on there to remind myself to include that in the next financial. And, but I have been sending all of you screenshots of each payroll run, so that you know where we're at.
Okay. Operationally, point blank in Shepherd, you gotta start watching what's left in your budget. You guys are running out of money. So you got.
Shepherd is finished for the year. What they turned in tonight is the last one that they turn in, the rest of it goes to their city budget, and then 20 months later that they are. I've talked to them about that.
All right, you have a motion, move to approve. Mark makes a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any seconds? All in favor? 3-0. Information and the report from district EMS provider. Excuse me.
All right, so September we had 322 calls, 240 transports, or average response, transport percentage 75%. The average inside of the count for the 3 trucks, 1336. Mutual aid calls were 13 and 12 transported. For average response time of 24:08. Old Springs had 109 calls, they transported 74 with an average response time of 13:41. They had 1 flight. Shepherd had 119 calls, they transported 94 for an average response time of 13:23. They had 3 flights. Point Blank had 81 calls, they transported 60. They had an average response time of 13:47. They had 4 flights.
And there's seemed like a lot of flights.
Yeah.
And last month too, wasn't it?
They're increasing. Yes, sir.
I'm glad with that capability that.
Yeah,
We have the
absolutely.
capability.
Because
All right.
so this is a new thing, you know, the flights. They're probably not new, they're just new being
Well,
recorded.
it has increased. At one time, we were around these numbers, and it kind of fell off. And it's picking back up, I'm noticing as well. Most of the calls are up north, which is a little bit further out and more advantageous to the flight.
I'm glad to see the percentage of calls under 10 minutes. That percentage is,
Well, just wait till next, we'll see then. It just fluctuates so much.
well, I know, but I mean, I'm glad to see that percentage was so high, under 10. And percentage, you know, under 20 is very good. So the over 20 number I like is good. Thank you, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Receive information from San Jacinto County Dispatch. I guess this is for them. Oh, how you doing? Good to have you.
I'm the dispatch supervisor. This is my first time here, so I'm just going to introduce
Thank you for coming.
Emily Phillips. Yes, sir. So in front of you on all 2 pages, the first one comes through the report from January to September 2025. The total EMS calls during that time is 3,679. The total of 5 calls we received was 1,112. And the total dispatch calls received is 23758, if I can try to say that. And then behind that one is going to be just September, as a breakdown, so you can see exactly what we did in September. For the total of EMS calls was 393, that's including first responders as well. For fire, we have 151, and the total dispatch for the month of September was 2,855.
Cool. Thanks, Ms. Bell. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming. Receive information report from OEM Fire Marshal. Nothing? That's fine. Receive information from Fire Chief regarding fire operation matters. All you got?
So in your packet, you have a couple pages of what's going on last month. We completed on September 27th the ATV driver class with 17 students in that one. We're working on scheduling the second one for sometime in December. October 17th to 18th, we included the second class, which is for large apparatus. We had 17 and 18 classes this weekend. So
Everybody do all right?
it's a reason great.
Good, good.
We did also the annual flow testing of air packs. Within what road, we've got 9 bottles out to hydro test. We've got 3 packs in for service. It should be back in 19 or so.
What about the 2 packs that Shepherd mentioned? We were talking about.
What's that? That pack that was damaged, it wasn't working correctly, it was at the shop. That's why we're looking at it.
Right, I thought they had 2 of them.
It was just one.
Okay.
Did some fire prevention at the Hill Spring Elementary Intermediate. And the Shepherd tanker that's been damaged for a while back, all the parts time came in, it's in Martin, so it'll be working on Wednesday. The one will take it.
How long will they have it?
A couple weeks.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, Brian.
We'll have some other items later on in the agenda.
Moving right along. Receive information from Department Chiefs or Chiefs Association. Anything?
Well, local reports, we had last week on Thursday, we had the ESD training for the new modules and also the kind of special module that the little secret created that allows us to, and we got all the modules up and running, to basically print out the monthly report you want to see directly from the system. So that training was given last week by Luke and go to that. And Thursday, next week, we have a county-wide training on fire behavior. That's all we have.
Cool, thank you, appreciate it.
And when is the fire thing? What is the name of that? When is it? Fire behavior. Okay, on Thursday, next week, that will be the first. Okay. I'm not sure how I'm going.
Receive information, comments, announcement from ESD Board Commissioners with no action taken. Anybody have anything?
Is that correct?
Yeah, Emmett was on assignment in Alaska. Lucky him. So let's wish him well.
I hope you took mosquito repellent.
Maybe it's too cold for mosquitoes, I don't know. Anybody have anything? Sam, you got anything else? Mike, Denise,
I don't have anything further than what's coming up.
okay.
And can you, when we get into district business, can you jump to H?
You wanna do that first?
Yeah, so they can get on the road.
Okay.
One of them's gotta go to San Antonio.
Oh, goodness, okay. District business, we're gonna skip down to number H so the gentleman here can, leave and get home at a decent hour. Review and act on district communications, including but not limited to updates, purchases, and repairs.
Okay, let me start off by saying there has been a public outcry for several years for improvement in communications. So, several months ago, the board said, let's see what we can do. So I went out and I contacted Michael Lockwood of Daily Wells and talked to them, started talking to him about a solution for our communication shortcomings, and he has put together, he and a host of other people at Daily Wells have put together a package, and it's a bid package. They're HGAC, so there's no need to go out for multiple bids. And before we talk about the bid itself, what is not included in that bid are things that are still somewhat pending based on the approval of this package. There's, I'll start from the north side. At the Oakhurst Tower, for this proposal to work, we have to put up a second antenna above the existing antenna. Well, currently there's a slot open that they've offered us. The current antenna is at 169 feet. They've offered us a slot or space at 348 feet. So the way the system will be designed, and I'll get further into that, is that we'll transmit low and receive high. Transmit on one antenna and receive on the other antenna. That's why that height is really going to be to our advantage. The problem is that is not approved and priced yet. They offered us the slot for the space, so I'm pretty sure it'll be approved. It just depends on what kind of price they're going to come back with. Additionally, with adding an antenna, there'll be some upfront costs in the neighborhood of $6,000 to $7,000 for engineering studies and other items that I cannot think what they are at the moment. But with that being said, then there's a price to lease that space. And I've already started negotiations with them to keep it within our budget, so to speak. Currently, we're paying approximately $470 a month for the lease of the lower antenna. I anticipate that the lease of the upper antenna, they will want in the neighborhood of $1,500 to $1,800 per month. I've already started talking them down, and today I started talking to them about us paying an additional $900 a month. So hopefully we're going to meet somewhere closer to our end than their end, and I've four-mouthed them, so to speak, and said that we don't have a real wealthy county, and we don't have a large communications budget, and so with that being said, they're kind of in agreement with working with us. That upfront cost, they've already committed to. The upfront cost typically would be close to $10,000. So they've already committed to waiving some fees and taking the minimum amount on others, and so it's going to take that. So when that is done and we come up with a price, this is a county contract. So we have to get the county to approve paying that amount, which in fact we will be paying because we have an interlocal agreement with the county that that's just a pass-through cost. So that's, although it's the county's contract, it's our cost. So we have to get the county to agree to do all this also, which I think won't be a problem. They did it before because of the pass-through situation. They would like to do it where we have our own, the county would like to have our own contract, but if we did that, we would start from scratch with everything, the low antenna and the high antenna, and we would start probably in the neighborhood, just guessing, of $2,600 to $2,800 a month to start from scratch, plus all of the initial fees for both antennas. So with that being said, riding the county's coattails on this one saves us and the taxpayer a lot of money. That's Oakhurst. So now we have to get from Oakhurst to Cold Spring because the system needs to be able to talk to one another. We're going to transmit from two locations, Cold Spring and Oakhurst. And these two need to talk to each other and be able to reconcile their communications and with a very low latency, which means that there can't be a long gap between when one transmits and the other one hears it. It has to be, there can be some separation, but the software can adjust for all that, and I'll let the technical guys talk to that more if you want to address that. But that's dealing with the contract with ESD telephone. So once we get this in place, then we can start the ESD telephone operation. Oh, I forgot something that the site has to be prepared. We have to get proper power in there, and we have to get the proper air conditioning in there. And the last time we were in the building, there were bird nests in the air conditioners, and I think one of the air conditioners was missing, right? So that's going to be a cost to us. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to be. So that's Oakhurst now getting to Cold Spring. The people who own the tower in Cold Spring, I'm working with them on lowering one of the antennas so that we can transmit again from low and receive high. Currently we have an EMS antenna and a fire antenna, and they're side by side. And we have to have vertical separation. So I'm in discussion with them to move one of the antennas, and I'm trying to get it where it's the EMS antenna because that is more expensive tower rim. So if I can lower the more expensive one, we might get a break on the EMS tower rim. So lower one antenna, and I'm waiting for an approval letter, so to speak. They have verbally approved it in concept, but their engineers are looking at it, and I'm waiting on the letter to do that. So all of this stuff kind of has to work before Davy Wells could do all of their magic with their equipment. The next thing is we're going to change the frequencies on the fire channels. The dispatch transmit frequency will remain the same, but we're going to change the dispatch receive frequency. So that's going to have to take a couple of days maybe for Bryant and Will, I think, has agreed to do this, to reprogram the radios once this happens. The reason we have to change frequencies is because there's no noise on our current frequency. And I've been in touch with the FCC representative, and they've offered us 6 different frequencies to use. So if this contract is signed, Davy Wells is going to monitor those 6 frequencies to see what's the cleanest and the best for us, more or less. And then we'll go back to the FCC and get the frequency we want out of that 6. The problem with talking to the FCC right now is they're out to lunch. They're not working at all. You go to the FCC database and it says we're closed. So nothing's happening there, but that's not a major issue at the moment. I don't think I've left anything out.
Explain to us, everything. I know you put a lot of work in this, you've been doing a lot of work on it. But explain as far as how this is going to improve communication.
In your packet, you will see
No one asked me to put anything in my packet. I believe that it said that Peter was going to clean it up when you get your changes.
right, but okay, that's a miscommunication on my part. I apologize.
The only thing you asked was the signature.
Okay, so what's going to happen is, right now we transmit from Cold Springs. When you get to, how far north, Brian?
Stevens Creek is where we all signal.
Okay, so you get to Stevens Creek and it's not working. Now, they want,
In mileage.
I don't know, about 8 miles, 8 miles. Okay, so Davy Wells has done studies based on this proposed system, and I wish I had a piece of paper.
Well, I can have it printed in my email, and I can email it to you.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got it.
Okay, so anyway, their coverage, when they did their coverage map, the spaces, it was dark green, most all of it, in different colors of green, and then there were some aqua places. And they were very...
People may not know what those colors mean.
Well, green, dark green, and light blue, okay, or blue-green. So the places that were blue-green, and those were very limited on their display. I'm gonna pull it up. I'll show you guys on my phone. Just 1 second. That's it. Hallelujah. Thanks, Jim. I brought it last month, and I took one for myself. Yeah, but see, okay, you can see the light blue areas?
Yes.
Those are areas that do not have handheld communication at base level. A 5-watt handheld transmitter. Am I correct, Michael?
That don't meet the threshold of what we consider a
quality signal. We're not saying you don't have signal. We're saying that signal is marginal for the radio in those locations where there's color. But there's no color where you can actually see the map. That's where the predictive coverage analysis is within a threshold that we feel is acceptable for the system.
So you can see there's by comparison, there's very little light colored blue, and it's kind of course, since we're working Cold Spring and Oakhurst, here, anyway, Cold Spring and Oakhurst, we're going to have more coverage to the north than to the south. But we still get some benefit to the south because the north and Cold Spring, Oakhurst and Cold Spring, are both now transmitting, and I would guess you get a reinforced signal. Maybe, I don't know, whatever happens, we still get improved coverage down here. Okay? Now, trucks with 50-watt radios, base stations, 100-watt radios, or trucks with 100-watt radios, there shouldn't be any problem. Now, with that being said, and I'll get them to verify what I'm about to say, there is no such thing as 100% communication. You're going to have it. Sometimes somebody's going to transmit and no one's going to hear it. It's going to happen. Or they're going to be in an area and be transmitted to and they can't hear them. It's a dead spot. In communications, you have dead spots. So, how much better is it? This predicts that we're going to have coverage. Thank you. Oh, this is okay.
That's not it?
Well, that's not exactly what I wanted.
That's one that you gave me.
I know. It's all right. Move it over here. This is one. Okay, here's one. Amy, did did she email that to you?
That contact?
Yeah. Okay, so have you looked over it? Okay.
Ask some questions.
Good. Let's look at it for you. First, answer questions. So anyway, the plan is to do a simulcast between the two towers. One is going to be at 340 feet transmitting. The other one's going to be 169 feet transmitting. And we'll be listening at 400 feet and 348 feet. I'm talking base of antennas. So that's the two things that are going to happen. And they'll do it simultaneously, and whichever one picks it up the best, it kind of cancels out the other one. With all the software, that's what happens with the software. And so I'm going to turn the floor over to Michael Lockwood and Thomas Morgan to see how badly I think what they're talking about.
So historically, based on...
I'm sorry, can you stand up?
So historically, based on our research and what we've seen, you all haven't had a separated transmit and receive system. So you've always just used a duplexer. So you have one antenna for each channel frequency. You're sending the transmit and receive up the coax to the antenna at the top. So the system that we, Thomas primarily, and some of our engineers have designed is the public safety standard. It's what we do on high-end critical communication systems. We separate the transmit from the antenna. That allows us to combine all the transmit signals of each of the tower sites into one antenna, so we can do a customized transmit system. And then on the receive side, we bring in the receive signal, and then at the base of that, we can do some receive amplification. The goal is to have as close of a balanced talk in as you get talk out. You never will get that on a duplexer system. There's always going to be loss of the receive. So you may hear dispatch, or you may hear other units, but trying to talk back in is always going to be a deficiency. So the goal, one of the goals is to improve. If I can hear, I'm going to be able to talk. And by separating that transmit and receive, we're able to accomplish that. That's one of the biggest differences from any system that we know that you all are better at. And then he was talking about simulcast. So the two sites, they vote on the receive. So if you're on the north end and your signal is better going into that tower, the signal will go in there, it will go through the network, and be broadcast simultaneously on both towers at the exact same time, improving coverage since you're transmitting from both sides. What that also does is if you're in the middle of the county, you're actually getting signal on the exact same frequency at the exact same time from different directions. So it does actually help a little bit with penetration between the two sites. Now, again, if you're outside and you're just away from one of the sites, you're still only getting signal from one tower versus the other tower where you are in the county. So with that, questions? It's kind of a 10,000-foot overview of the tower. All next.
How much is it going to improve the communications that we have now?
Based on what we sent, we sent some text out, and you were here. I don't know if we have an actual coverage map of current, but based on what we have done out in the field on our own, and versus that map, it's a tremendous improvement, especially up to the north and northwest of the county.
Without the entering 1127 outside shows 15.
I'd have to look at the map on it. So
There's not going to be a lot of improvements now.
Yeah.
We're using the exact same site that you guys are using today. We're not adding any more transmitters to the site.
Thomas, can you speak up a little bit? I'm sorry.
Sorry. You're not going to see a whole lot of improvement to the south. We're not adding any transmit sites to the south. So the same repeater that you use today from here in town is going to be, that's the same antenna that we're going to be using when we put the simulcast system in. You're going to see the bulk of your improvement in the north end of the county.
Which is where we need it the most.
Now, again, going back to that separation of the transmit and receive, you will be able to see that if you're able to hear, you're going to be able to talk, since we're separating that out, whereas historically you've probably been able to hear but not talk back in. So wherever that gray area between transmit and receive is, we're going to fill that and make that equal. Probably the best way to describe that.
Any got more questions? How were you guys without the right now?
One or two.
Where do you put towers at each station?
So, a lot of times when customers come to us and they ask, they say, hey, this is what we're trying to accomplish, right? We want to have coverage here, 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 and here. It's especially important inside this building here. We definitely need it over here. We take that data based on the customer's requirements, and we find locations, or they give us locations as to where tower sites need to be, what the elevation is, and then we'll provide a coverage map based on that. Well, in this situation, we were given, hey, here's the two sites we have. What can we get out of that? So I don't have the data as to where all the tower sites are or where all the stations are that may improve that. Now, to answer your question bluntly, if you had a tower at all the stations, depending on geographically where they were, the more sites, the better your coverage, especially in a simulcast system. Is there a tower at every location or every department needed? Probably not. It really needs to get to what are the RF requirements as far as coverage? Where's your building density, in town versus rural, those types of things. So I don't think having a tower at every station is the answer. Without looking at the map and elevation and all that, I really couldn't give you that answer. However, yes, having more tower sites and more locations is going to cover a larger area as well as penetrate more in where you have dense areas that need more coverage.
Right, how much does it cost for one tower? That's the thing.
That's the question. So you're already on the land, or is the land you have to buy? Is it a self-supporting? Is it a guide? Is there some indigenous creature on the property that, there's a lot.
And it costs lots of money to put towers up.
The simulcast between these two towers and getting the latency and expense down to just these two towers. If we were going to every tower, there's not enough money in the county, I don't think. Now, we are looking at a site, say we, a couple of us are looking at a site down south. It's property that we already own, and we're trying to do some topographical look at it to see how high we have to be to clear the trees and get the signals out. So
that piece of property is on kind of a hill anyway.
Yeah, if we're talking about the same property, but the point being is that we're trying to get this bird put to bed first and make it work. And then when we've got that and we've got some more money in our budget, because we don't have an unlimited budget, when we get some more money in the budget, then we can look at additional sites. Creating additional sites is an expense, but there's a lot of factors that go into making those sites simulcast. The latency issue for one.
Yes, there's over-the-air latency where we have to make the two signals between the sites match up over the air, and then there's the actual interconnect between the sites, the network, to make sure we can...
I bring this up is not long ago when our sheriff's officers was apprehending a criminal, and the criminal was getting the best of him, and he went to his radio, and the radio, he might as well threw his radio away because it didn't work for him. I've been a resident for 20 years. I come from California, and this has been a problem ever since I arrived. And there has to be a solution to it.
We're working on that. That's what we're doing right now. We're working on a solution. If this works, we can expand it. If this works like we think it's going to work, which will be extremely good, then we're looking to expand that. And our communication in the past has been horrid. And we've gone, from contractor to contractor, and everybody says, this is the answer. This is the first time we're trying a simulcast, and with equipment and software that is well advanced from where we were 10 years ago when I first encountered the tower on 222 and command technology.
So Montgomery County Hospital District has 6 VHF sites in the county to provide them coverage in the county. 6 down here in Conroe. Right? So just to give you guys scope, and they're not in the forest. They have trees, but it's not as dense as up here. Right?
And that's what they require over there, is 6?
6 to get the coverage that they require. And they're on tall towers. When you guys decide where you want to put a third tower, you guys can give us the coordinates, and we will do predictions to tell you how high that has to be to give you the best coverage, and whether or not it will blend with the system. We'll do that. But not pay us a big fee and we'll do it. We'll tell you before you build a tower, this is what you need. Okay? Yes.
We would have to have that.
That's not, we're not here to nickel and dime you. We want you guys to have reliable coverage. We want something that your public safety first responders depend on and rely on.
The thing is, just like Mike says, and I know Mr. Dia here, the same thing, the communications in this county has been terrible for years and years and years. And I've heard so many bad stories about communications with fire, with EMS, with the sheriff's office, all of those. But this here, what we're trying to do here is better our communications with fire and EMS. And Mike had mentioned something to me about the sheriff's office could come on board at a later date, right? Or
it's conceivable. I mean, it's doable. But instead of being a 2-channel, we could be a 3-channel. Correct, Thomas? Yeah. Now we just have to build the combiner.
Correct. That's correct.
To make those 3 channels work. And that's going to be the expense. Right? Yeah. So the biggest part, I mean, that's not the only expense.
In the worst case, they was counting on a transmit antenna, and we'd have to expand the receive system so that all 3 receives would use the same receive antenna.
Right.
And they already have a transmit antenna, so you're not adding that expense to the tower.
Right.
Here, but you could have another transmit antenna specifically for them if it won't go into the combiner. VHF, they space the frequencies really strange. So it's really hard sometimes to get everything to go into one combiner clean.
We've been after the Commissioner's Court for 3 years.
They're not Commissioner's Court.
Yeah, I'm saying that there is money available where you would be paying the blunt cost of it. There is money available through Commissioner's Court as well as your funds.
Mr. Dieter, before you make that statement, I'd ask you to research that statement because the county's funds are the county's funds and they will spend it on county items. Now, the plan is, and I've been talking to Chief Jolly about it, is that when we get this working, we can bring the sheriff's department on board.
That's where the Commissioner's Court comes in.
And the Commissioner's Court will then come in and put that bill.
I think the sheriff's department will be envious of the system that we proposed to you all.
And that's what I'm hoping happens. So that they say, let us on it, here's some money. You know, I mean, that's kind of the plan.
So Brian, you were with all them when they did all these tests and everything, and do you have any concerns?
Anything's going to be better than what we got. I mean, we've all been here, I've been here 28 years now. It's gotten worse over the last couple of years. We went Stevens Creek, so basically right past Cape area, we lost the Fox's Run on handheld. We lost on the 45, 50 watt truck radios, we lost it right before you get to 190. So pretty much everything from 190 north has no transmit, no receive on the VHF system at this point. Like Commissioner Russell was mentioning, we're on 27. Similar to that, the south of the Bear Creek on the Montgomery County line, 105 area, Pumpkin Evergreen area near New Waverly, and then Shepherd area out of 127 is the same issue. So we were talking about this over site. If it works the way we're seeing it's going to work, we basically mimic that on the south end of the county, and that should theoretically fix everything we've got on this end over here also. But the only way to know is to try this Oakers Tower at this point. But all of the radios that we were using were our radios, where companies before would bring in different brands, different wattages, stuff like that. We were using our actual Kenwood radios and getting them. So, and not only that, they had repeaters set up. They were receiving and transmit and receive stuff and all that, feeding it into the computers. So, yes.
Yeah, just as a reference, what we did to make sure that we were hoping that, hey, there was an equipment issue that we could pinpoint. You have a problem at this tower, this is what's wrong, this needs to be replaced, and it would improve things. But to take that out of the equation, we actually brought one of our computers with us, plugged it into your current coax, your current dual flasher, and basically just pulled your transmitter out, put our transmitter in, and we saw the same results. So it's the design of the RF infrastructure that is your limiting factor on this tower, the closest one. Well, yeah, that's the only one that's over right now.
Yeah, what we also figured out is we've got, so keep in mind, Fire EMS is VHF analog. Sheriff's Office is VHF B25. Their antennas in the center, we've got 3 antennas in a straight line, okay? So what we did is we swapped Fire and EMS. So right now, EMS works a little better to the north, Fire works a little better to the south. We swapped EMS and Fire antennas, and it was completely opposite. EMS started working in the south, Fire started working in the north. So as Michael put it, we've got to lower the antenna so that they're not bouncing off each other. And when we figured it out on the Sheriff's Office channel, it works good north and south, doesn't work good east and west. So we've got an issue. All those antennas, they're 6 to 8 feet apart on top of this tower.
Yeah, so we were trying to just do a little bit of homework and hopefully come up with a solution that was here's a quick, easy fix, but unfortunately, we found that the limitations are just what you have in place today.
Sam, do you have anything else?
Looking at y'all's contract, they're saying change orders we can complete, but then down the next change order, we're talking about restocking needs. We changed that, and it's a very high percentage restocking needs for us.
Okay, we addressed that when we were putting it together, Tam.
Yeah. So if we design the system and halfway through you all decide to do a change based on a decision you all make, then yes, there's going to be, that's a change in the system as designed that you all are requesting. So we would have to take that equipment back and then, return it to the manufacturer as well. So that's why that clause is in there.
And it can change so that it states that if we change it.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit vague in that you may have the original version.
It does say.
Yeah, I think we addressed that. Mr. Smith had us address that, and it was based on customer request. Now, if it's something, good and it's a change that we make, right, so that, I think we already addressed that, yeah, good catch.
No, okay, in your folder, there's one like this.
Also, the terms of the agreement, 4 years. Y'all do all this good stuff for us for 4 years. Maintain terms and conditions.
That's once the CSA, so that's saying if we execute it, that is in effect for 4 years as far as, we don't expect this system to take 4 years to install, but the communications systems agreement has a 4-year term on it. We have some projects that last.
So this is their project timeline.
That's just the CSA for the agreement for the actual, the system deployment, yeah. Yeah, that's not a maintenance, agreement for 4 years. Good question. Yes, sir.
In discussions with Thomas about the cutover, he indicated it'd be a couple of 3 days. We'd have everything in place and then cut it over.
How long will we, that's how long we'll be without service.
Right, and so I've been working,
You won't be without service. Okay. So we're gonna have a period of time where we ask to have either a channel for a short period of time or the fire channel, one of the two, to let us go validate the system operating properly before we take you guys to start using it. But we have no intention of telling you you can't communicate for 3 days. No, sir. Well, 3 days is just a period of time where I need to get some work done. I need to remove the antenna, right? And then it has to get moved down one of the towers. I need to get the system offline individually, one at a time, and validate the existing antenna systems are fully functioning and in good working order, things like that. It won't be a complete outage, but there will happen times where it's like, okay, I need this channel for a short period of time. I need this for a short period of time.
we're currently looking into covering it so that if it went down completely, we've got the backup. Right now, we've got 222 is a functioning backup tower on highway. FM 222.
The question is,
There's a 2,000 foot top tower that we're up 900 feet on. So, and it will work. It just doesn't have the coverage,
And if that's acceptable to you guys, you're gonna use that at your backup site, right? But we're still gonna have to have one on the other without critical traffic on it, so that we can validate the system. But I don't be able to
I'm working with agents and with our dispatch you, and we'll do all that on EPP so they have that channel to do the testing and stuff.
the question is, if you think you're getting enough of the hardware and stuff you want, the contract itself is fine from the standpoint of being a contract, but I don't analyze it for what product you're getting in price and stuff. No, that's not me, that's Michael.
Anything else, Tammy?
I like their check sheet. I guess you want to work with, that's a lot of detail.
This is what we do. This is near and dear to our heart. Our customers, we'll give you our entire customer list. Feel free, call them for references. As I told Mr. Smith early on, we're going to engineer this, we're going to design this, we're going to deploy this to the point where our name's on it. And we, Mr. Wells, Thomas, our entire company, we're not going to cut corners. We're not just going to give you a product and throw something to the wall and hope it sticks. This is what we do, and this is our reputation on the line, because we know the situation y'all are in, and our customers come to us, and potential customers come to us, and we engineer and design, and what we deliver, we deliver. And I can assure you, again, if you want to reach out to some of our references, by all means, we will provide those.
All right, Mike, so
Okay, so one of the things in the contract is, contract is for, on page 2, 3. Can't separate this paper. Oh, I have a question for you, Michael.
Yes, sir.
Let's assume that we sign this CSA.
Yes, sir.
And Crown Castle comes to us and says, you can have whatever site you want, but it's gonna cost you, $3,000 a month. And currently, we can't afford, you know.
Yeah, I understand there's a lot of moving parts. It sounds like it probably needs to be solidified on the Crown Council side, I would say, before we pull the trigger on this aspect, like you mentioned at the beginning.
Well, I want to get things, there are certain aspects, things that we can get going, like monitoring the frequencies to nail down which frequency we want. There's, you know, and that was kind of my question. Is there a way, and maybe legal can talk to me on this one, so that we execute the contract with the contingency that these pieces fall in? Because they're external to this. I mean, they're not purely external, but they're things that we can't control at the moment. And so if we wait for everything to come into place, and, well, is there a way to back out of this contract in the event that one of these pieces that I've just discussed goes south? I don't anticipate that happening.
I think the big thing is once we do the CSA, we usually that's our green flag to start ordering equipment, to start the staging in San Antonio. We build everything and stage it and get it ready to go. But I can hold up on ordering. Yeah, if you get the frequency and Crown Council will work out. I can hop on order.
I'd like to go ahead and get this going though, otherwise. And
so what is it you need from Crown Council?
Well, I need some numbers from them. You know, how much they want, and then I get to tell them how much we're gonna pay. And then we get this, you know. So far, it's working pretty good for us, you know. I mean,
he did the same with us.
So yeah, I mean, I'm working way down, and then all of a sudden we added this new aspect that came back up. How long do you expect that to take? Okay, here's the working pieces on that. They give me a number that I'm happy with, that I think the board will be happy with. The board has to approve that number. I can't just say, yeah, that's a good number. The board has to say, yeah, we're willing to pay that. And then I take that number to Commissioner's Court, and I say, they want to increase your contract, the lease, by this much. And then I take an interlocal that says, and we'll pay it. So I've got to get them to say, yes, we'll sign the amendment to the lease, and yes, we'll sign the interlocal. They did it before, but it took me 2 months to get it done because they didn't want to do all of it on the first shot. They signed the interlocal, but they wouldn't sign the lease, the amended lease. So, with that being said, I don't know what Commissioner's Court is going to do.
So do we need to hold off until we get everything in order from Crown Council and Commissioner's Court?
It sounds like they're willing to wait.
Well, I don't want to jump the gun and then something happens on the other end and it don't go through.
I'm totally, and that's why I asked is there a way
in the CSA, the payment terms are we did a 50-50, half the contract signing, half the system acceptance. So, when the contract is signed by the terms, then a payment would be due even if we hold off on equipment. Which we can do, but again, then there's a transaction that takes place and...
The thing is, if we pay that 50%, and then the other pieces don't fall together, are we gonna be at that 50%?
I don't think...
We can do it on 1 hour. I get it. I mean, so maybe, the answer is not signed, right now, but
Why don't we, table it until all the other pieces fall into place? So that way that we know.
it's the
You
board's
guys aren't gonna
call.
withdraw your offer, right?
No, we're not gonna withdraw offer. What's the lead time on?
Mine is 12 weeks.
Yeah, so there's some 12-week lead time on some components. Tape is running at least 90 days, so there's lead time on this, so just keep that in mind. And again, I'm not pressuring you in one way or the other. I just want you to understand there's some moving parts on our end. You're not gonna see deliverables, within 30 days, 60 days. There's gonna a lot of be.
Well, we gotta see where we're coming from too. I don't want to sign off on something and have to pay all this money and then these other parts don't come into place. I don't wanna drop that money.
As a formality, if you wanna execute the CSA and we amend payment, I don't know if we wanna get with Mr. Reed and have him revise that.
There would have to be something in there that if Crown Castle or Commissioner's Court, or is not in agreement or doesn't, the things don't come together, we can back out of it and get our money back. If we have to pay.
Just don't sign it yet, guys, come on.
No.
I think it's a good idea to table. I think once we get that accomplished.
Well, I'm working.
Well, they're not gonna order this stuff until you pay them.
Right. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I say we table it until we get everything wound up.
And we can't get the frequency, the monitors until we sign the document. Getting the right frequency, the frequency we've got has noise on it, we see it. And it's what garbles the transmissions, and so we're trying to find a clean frequency, and I want to find it as fast as I can, because now I've got to go through the FCC, which is going to take who knows how long. And they need
And that's a definitive number. We have to have that before we can order.
Exactly, they have to have that number.
So there, again, you've got the tower and the FCC that are must-have pieces of information.
Right.
So, for sure.
Well,
I think we should table it also.
But yeah, we're not going to rescind our offer. Now, if you come to us 6 months from now and say, hey, we're ready to move forward, we will have to make sure that our vendors haven't changed.
No, right. We understand that.
Okay.
So I just don't want to, I'm not comfortable signing off or voting off on anything until everything's in place.
Okay. And our main purpose was to make sure and answer any questions on the technical side.
No, we appreciate that as well.
So one other question, how long do you believe this will take to get accomplished after everything's?
Well, we did install timeline.
Yes.
We were talking, if we started tonight, we'd finish towards the end of second quarter, right?
Yeah. We're doing it.
6 months onwards?
It's
Right?
As long as there's no major issues that have to be done with the towers, that Comcast will identify, right? As long as we're not having to go and remediate the towers, that we can just put the antennas on, it should be about 6 months.
Okay. The Crown Castle will, there we go. There's these costs that I was talking about. That Crown Castle is going to charge. I can't find the paper right now. There it is. These things that happen, there has to be, there's going to be, after things are installed, there's a site inspection. Before the site inspection, there is, I can't believe. Anyway, it's just a piece of paper. Yeah, a notebook paper. Yeah, that's crazy. Wait a minute. Eureka. Got it. Okay, so they have to do a structural analysis. Okay, so that's gonna take them some time. You know, once we say yes, they're gonna do a structural analysis. Then, after we install it, they're going to do an site inspection so that they make sure that we did what we said we were going to do, and we installed it. Before that, you have to have construction drawings, and they can do those or somewhere in the neighborhood. This is one of the costs the lady said they could cut, but it's still going to end up being about $2,000. And then I've got to get with the judge for zoning and permitting to get an exemption so that Crown Castle will even let us touch the tower. So I don't think that's going to be hard, but it's got to be done. So these are things that may take some time. The structural analysis and the construction drawings are the two things that may take some time. We have no idea how long that's going to be. And I don't know whether that's going to be before they say, okay, you can have this spot. You know, we give them all the specs of what we're doing, and they do all of this other stuff. And then they come back and they say, okay, you can have it at this price. So, this is my first rodeo on this. So I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna happen.
Well, I appreciate all the hard work. I know you've been doing a lot of work.
But,
So let's just table it until we can get all the other ducks in a row.
okay, so,
It's $15.50 a month.
okay. Well, $15.50 a month, we're already paying,
Minus $4.70.
you know, we're paying $470, so, you know, I'm talking, that's $900. No. Yeah, a little over 1,000, thank you. 1,000 a month. Well, if they say, no, you can't go, you know, it's gonna be more than 1,000 a month, it's gonna be 1,200 a month. So that's, you know, an extra $2,400 a year. So that puts us over $20,000 a year. So, I mean, I've already told them $1,000 is where, you know, less.
Okay, let's table it and then move on, and that way we'll table it and, till you can get everything else in order.
All right.
And then go from there.
Sorry, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen, we appreciate y'all's time and
Information provided.
for showing up.
And filling the tower aspect and the civil aspect, this is usually the most difficult part of every project that we do. So don't feel like that you're.
No, I get it, we appreciate y'all's patience.
Absolutely.
So thank y'all for all the hard work, we appreciate it. Well, safe travels.
Side note on the Castle thing. This all went in to be processed about 3 months ago. No, 6 months ago. And they changed salesmen and didn't tell me.
No, nice.
And so then I found the new salesman and I contacted him. And he passed it off to a third person, dealing with the third person, got it all set up, sent all the paperwork to him again, and I got contacted about a month and a half later by someone saying, oh, he doesn't work here anymore, your new contact will be. And so now I'm on my fourth contact.
That's frustrating.
And every time I negotiate with one of them, he gets fired. So, you know,
What is that saying?
hey, I'm sorry. Maybe I can tell you.
Down so much, it's fired.
I just,
Commissioner, I need to revisit that item in order of the agenda when we get there.
Say that again?
I need to revisit that item whenever we get to it normally on the agenda.
Okay, let's go back up. We're going to review and act on mutual aid agreement with San Jacinto County ESD.
I had a chance to speak with or correspond with the attorney for ESD2. He said that he's working with his client regarding our revisions and thinks he will have something back for us next month.
Okay. Thanks, sir. B, review and act to designate the email and mailing address to addresses for receipt of Public Information Act request and to update district website and OAG database for same under government section 552.234.
Yes, so I discussed with Denise last month. She was getting an official email address set up to be the official one for the district to receive PI requests via email. But we need the board to act to approve that. So Denise, what is that email address you got set up?
So I will need to add a tab, and the email address has already been set up, and it is PIA@sjcesd.com. So Public Information Act, PIA@sjcesd.com. And I would assume that the website will put it on a tab that says request public information here.
Right.
And that will be there. And I would like to ask that we use 101 FM 1514 Road as the address because that mailbox is checked out. Whereas the PO box I go to scrap.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I move that we approve the address of 101 FM 1514, Cold Spring, Texas, 77331.
And PIA@sjc.
And the email address of PIA.
I've already done it.
Okay. PIA@sjc.com. ESD.com.
Is it ESD.com?
SJCESD.
Okay.
.com.
PIASJC at
SJCESD.com.
Okay.
And at the time, I didn't know it needed board action. I just thought an email address needed to be created, so I created it and sent it to Mr. Beaver.
Yeah, we didn't have time to add it to the agenda before last month, so we went ahead and moved forward. I'll take it up.
I'm sorry. Read the motion back again so we're all clear.
A motion to add the email address PIA@sjcesd.com to the website along with the address for Public Information Act at 101 FM 1514 Road, Cold Spring, Texas 77331. Motion estimate.
And to designate those as the official ones to receive requests.
So stated.
There we go.
Oh, second? Tammy seconds it. Any more discussion on it? All in favor? 3-0.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, C, review and act to schedule budget workshop meetings.
So historically, we usually meet the first week of December-ish to do the district budget workshop where we go through and create any line items that need to be created and talk about the 2026 budget creation. We've already adopted a budget, but we go through and create each individual line item. And we usually do that in a workshop with the board and then present it to the full board.
Okay, you say we will do it first week in December?
In November.
Oh, in November.
Yeah, you
said December.
Oh, sorry, I meant November.
That's pretty late.
Yeah, no, we usually do it in November.
Okay, I'll be out of town, so y'all figure out what's good for y'all.
First week's not good for me. Maybe it's 10th.
I got something, just a minute, let me see what I got.
11th is a holiday.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. Our meeting is the 17th, so, but we probably would not present the budget at that meeting. We probably wouldn't present the budget until December the, oh, we'll have to move that meeting because that's the 22nd.
yeah, it's 15.
Oh, you're right, 15th. But we probably have to move it anyway unless your other district changed.
Mr. Peeler, are you available on the 15th?
Of December?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's the one we used to have to change for that other district.
Yeah, I know, Christine goes to those meetings now.
So we could do it hypothetically anywhere in the month of November.
The first week of November is not good for Tammy. Tammy, what's good for you?
Well, the 6th and 7th is good. Thursday, Friday.
Well, Ryan's out the 6th and 7th.
What about the 3rd?
Ryan, yeah.
The 3rd? That's a Monday.
November the 3rd?
I won't be here.
I thought you, okay. You can do the 3rd, Tammy?
I can, but it's not gonna be.
I'm not gonna be here, so y'all.
Well, you're out the whole month, right?
I'll be back and forth, so I'm not sure when yet.
Well, Tammy, since it's election, you want to wait till the week of the 10th sometime to give you a little.
Yeah, that's fine.
When is Brian off the week of the 10th?
He's off the 10th, the 11th, and 14th. He works the 12th and 13th.
Okay. How about the 10th? How does that sound to you?
That would probably, then that should be back by then, I think. When's Emmett coming back, you said?
October 31st.
Okay. It should be,
Doctor's appointment at 2 o'clock
On November the 10th?
on November the 10th in Conroe.
what time?
2 o'clock, but
Well, it did. What time do y'all want
It usually lasts a little while.
Yeah, we usually go early, so from about 10 to 2:30. So what other day did you say that?
he works the 12th and 13th, so the 11th, I guess, is a holiday.
Yep.
And we work the holiday.
The 14th is super busy for me because that's this, Friday before the meeting. So I have to do both pay and that stuff. That day.
So,
Well,
Veterans Day is the 11th, so I mean, of course, we've done meetings on holidays before, so.
yeah, it doesn't matter to me.
It's up to you.
11th would be.
11's good with Tammy.
All right, 11th. And you said Brian's off?
Brian is off the 11th. Oops. I can't, I got a doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
That's the wrong color.
All right, what is the availability on the 6th and 7th of November? Is that bad for you?
It's not bad for me, but I think, like I said, Brian.
Well, I was working.
6th and 7th?
Good. Looks good. I'm hoping I'm good. Wow.
Is Brian off?
Brian's off.
I'll be awake.
Jimmy. All right, well,
Let's just not do that.
What's the 3rd and 4th look like?
3rd and 4th?
well, the 4th is election day.
Well, the 3rd.
3rd,
I'm good with 3rd.
is Brian off?
Brian's off.
All right, let's do November 3rd. Does that work for you? All right, what time do you want?
Let's do it early, please.
10 a.m.?
If not, I can't make it. I'm busy in the afternoon.
What time good for you?
Mine's good.
Can I go for you, Mike? I know Brian likes early.
It's not good for me, but I'll do it.
9 a.m.
No,
All right, 9:30 would be better, just let me say that.
I'll be sending you guys, some information. Historically, I send you a note sheet that tells what I know the numbers will be on certain things for the next year. So I'll do that again, that's okay.
all right, November 3rd, 9 a.m.
Yeah.
That's it. And would you send that out to everybody so they know that Ron and them know?
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm sorry, tell me the date again, Denise?
November the 3rd at 9 a.m. for our district budget workshop.
Okay, I'll get with you, so we'll make sure we do the additional posting stuff with the budget.
Okay, cool. There'll be no action at that one.
I know, but if you're discussing a budget, we still gotta,
D, review and act to approve funding and purchase of equipment, apparatus, or vehicles, as well as repairs to equipment, apparatus, or vehicles.
So the first thing I have, because it's not a specific item on the agenda, is just for you to look at the case compilation for 2024. There's no action needed, so that's just for your reading pleasure. They did a good job. And then the next thing I have is a quote from MES, and the fire chief will talk to you about that.
What is this here?
The Cape Area compilation for 2024.
Okay,
There's no action needed on that.
okay, thank you. Chief, it's all you.
So you're gonna have a quote from EES, and you're also another quote from Advanced Rescue Services. So, the Beauty Crew right now is using, an engine repair crew, which is equipped with air packs and jaws. The truck we ordered for the ESD crew is coming in a month early, so I'll pick it up on November 20th.
That's the one that we just bought, the 495?
Yes.
Okay.
So once they get into that truck, it'll take a couple weeks to get tools on. Once they're in that truck, they're gonna need air packs and models, and they're gonna need a set of jaws. Right now, like I said, they're using very quick equipment, so they're air packs and jaws. So these are two quotes. The Advanced Rescue is the TNT tools, they're all the VFEs, just like that. And then of course, the air packs are in line with the same ones that we've purchased prior.
So the Advanced is way cheaper than the MES.
No, two separate quotes, I'm just saying they both go together.
Oh, okay.
So EES is a quote for 4 air packs and 8 bottles.
Okay,
On the mask. And then that will go on the, for the E-Crew, engine. With that being said, Shepherd Fire requested, 2 extra packs to go on the tanker. So, talking to Bear Creek, they got, when ESD moves over to their truck with these packs, 2 of the packs off of their spare truck will go, to Shepherd, to supplement, their tanker. So that will give them, 5 packs in each engine and 2 packs in the tankers each.
And if you look at district improvements, there's a balance there, that has to be used before 12/31. And we have, I just deposited another 28,000 today. That was a grant reimbursement, so that will go up by another 28,000. So there's 235,000 in that line item for things such as this.
$700 shipping on this advance.
Oh, yes, yeah, they put shipping on there, so there's, if I remember the MES on first brand, which are agreeing and got, their quote was about 52,000. They didn't have shipping on it, but with, Advanced Rescue, you guys have 9 tools in a row. And they're putting in, so yes, they do charge $700 because it comes straight from TNT, to us, instead of them picking them up in North Carolina and Virginia. But they also put in all the 9 brackets. All the rest of them before, so the lower ones you see here says, 9 brackets are perfect.
Mounting brackets.
The mountain brackets, it basically covers the shipping and charging, so.
good one.
And keep in mind too, these TNT tools versus first, advanced rescue is a lifetime warranty like MSH or TNS, the Scott packs, it's lifetime warranty. So as long as we have them, I know recently Shepherd had a ram go down, they picked up the ram late one night and dropped off the spare for them to have to use all the help to every service. So these a lot of extended warranties are going with the TNT tools versus the other ones.
You said a while ago, the other departments that have these, they're the same ones, right?
Right, it's the same ones.
Okay. So all the batteries and stuff, everything will interchange.
Now, yes, this quote does say it was a generic quote she put out to me, so it's no walk, it'll actually be the wall, price is the same and all that. The rescue saws and lights and stuff that we're doing on the ESD engine are playing over the wall, so that will be the same batteries that we're these tools.
Okay. All right. So that's 77,315.18. Yeah. And district improvements. I move we approve. I got a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Tammy seconds it. Any more discussion on it? All in favor? 3-0.
I think that's all I have under D, the next items are under E.
Okay. E, review and act on funding and purchase of services or training related to the provision of emergency services.
All right, we have two departments needing to go to some training. The first one is a general from Hunter Evergreen, and they are asking for 10 attendees to go to extrication training, and they are asking for the lodging, correct? The lodging for 160310.
I'll make it.
Okay.
Give you the action that we have to purchase it before we all apply the interior reimbursement, because we Airbnb and I'm waiting to accident, so reimbursing the tax.
Okay, so we can set up to 1,500 for and this is extrication.
So it comes in with $100 per person per room thing or
Lodging. And then the second one is Shepherd. They're asking for 4 people. The Shepherd, the board, they get 420 through Texas Forest Service, but they use the help from ESD for the other, and I believe that it is $485.98 plus.
So that's what Shepherd's asking?
Yes, Shepherd. And they want to go to, it is heavy vehicle.
Okay, what's the total for the Shepherd?
Up to $1,000 for lodging, it's $485.98 plus for their lodging.
So it's only 2 personnel too, correct?
Say one more time.
Only 2?
4? Yeah,
I'm looking at that resume.
yeah, it's 2 on one and 2 on another.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shepherd's asking for up to $1,000?
Yeah.
Okay, and then this one from Chief Rodriguez is 1,600?
Up to 15. He got it for a cheaper rate, he's got the tax removed, so up to 1,500.
Oh, okay, so the 1,603 is, it's 1,500?
Right, and that would be out of the FDR training, which we do still have money.
Okay, I'm all about training, I move that we approve it.
I'll second.
Got a motion in a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Here we go.
That's all I have on that, my next item is under,
And so we approve,
up to 1,500 and up to 1,000, so.
4,500 total.
Out of the FDR training.
And that's all the training.
Are you caught up, Mike? Alright, F, review and act on repairs, renovations, or construction of district and/or provider-owned facilities, including engagement of architectural and engineering service and selection of contractors.
So before we get to the items that are normally on there, Tom Everett has been talking to me for years, that their floor, is really supposed to have an annual, strip and wax due to the type of flooring that's in there, and we just haven't done it. So they did get an estimate, from America's Cleaning Solutions to strip and wax. It'll be 5 foot wax with high speed burnishing, and moving around the furniture, moving the bunk beds, rooms with people bunk beds with beds and stripping wax around them.
We get them out, we get them out, they just need to be this somewhere, you gotta remember that. They were assembled in the room for a reason, I don't think that's before.
About how many square feet is that?
It's this little square area, and nobody walked up underneath it, it's like,
Well, what's the total square footage that they're looking to do?
I didn't do my, but they went in and measured everything. And there were the same people that did the original waxing for, Timberline Construction, they just did the basic, like, little off, and, they recommended we do it at least once a year. Now that we have heavy traffic because of the duty crew, well, we did teamwear, and a lot of that was more, but they didn't get approved. It's the same issue, we just throw it down with.
How long has it been since it's been done?
Since April.
How long was that?
3 years.
Yeah, we haven't done it since it's built, and we do have money in building new grounds for this within our budget.
Do we? Okay.
And the entire budget, not for the budget.
That's correct.
I'll make a motion, we accept this bid and move forward.
Second it. Any more discussion? All in favor? 3-0.
And I don't have anything on the other things unless you want to do it and make them
The update on the 1514 building is basically, waiting on, what did he say? Hang on, I'll tell you. So they have review sheets to look over. We also have some forms that he needs signed. He's sending out for the ESD to sign. As far as the ADA review, there's just paperwork that we'll do, waiting on drawings for the electrical drawings, the plumbing drawings, and the parking lot drawings. We're not doing the parking lot right now, so I had to sign a letter saying that we're not going to do the parking lot at this time because it hasn't been approved by the board and we haven't gotten bids for it. But in order to get the permit to do the inside part, they needed that letter signed saying that we're going to hold off on the parking lot. So I did that, not just last week, so they're looking to start on the building hopefully this week or maybe next. So that's it on that, basically.
So they haven't started.
No. They were waiting on engineers and stuff to do all the drawings and the electrical drawings, plumbing drawings, and all that other stuff. Which I didn't know they had to do all that stuff. So that's it on that. Okay, G. Review and act on investment report and or investment updates.
This one is an action.
This is me.
That's what we're here.
Yeah, the quarterly report has to be approved by the board, so this is the report.
Yeah. What you see is what you get. Okay. Something happened. Everything's running. There's nothing due until next month. And with the Fed lowering the rates, then it's probably going to be less than the 4.20. It'll probably be somewhere around, I'm guessing, 3.8, 3.75. 3.75 to 3.9 is my guess. But I don't know yet. I can't talk rates with them. It's too early.
Okay. So we need a motion to approve this?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Second it. Any more discussion on it? All in favor? Okay, we're back to H, Denise.
So last month I brought to you the tower usage agreement, and there was a typo in the contract, and so I reached out to them and they put the emergency services district. They still included San Jacinto County in a spot, but I did send it over to Peter, and this is the one that we get free rent on, and they're just trying to get their housekeeping in order to have an agreement in place. So this is something that we need to sign, that you guys will need to approve the tower usage agreement for no charge. This is on the 222 tower.
I think we can approve that. I move we sign it.
I'll second it.
This is their agreement or our agreement?
It's their agreement to us. I guess that we had an agreement at one time and it expired, and it got brought to their attention. And so they reached out to me and said, hey, this is expired, we need to get another agreement. I believe it was for 5 years.
Mr. Peter looked us over, right?
Yes.
Yes. That sounds right. Yes.
But since it was their agreement, there's not a signature page for it in this form, but I do have the email where he said that this is.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? 3-0.
Who was that? That was me. Who seconded?
I did.
And I'll need to get a signature on that before.
Good, Jimmy.
Probably get it.
Yeah. Okay, are you done with H, Denise?
Yes, the only other thing in there was the signature page for, the daily bills that you guys take.
We tabled that. Got that on there.
Oh, this is that agreement right here.
Okay, review and act on budget amendments and or line item transfers.
I don't have it this time.
J, review and act on employment personnel issues, including policies, handbook, procedures, hiring, retention, compensation, benefits, and scheduling of district employees. I'm not gonna fire you tonight.
One question I do have is the grant stuff you and I were speaking about for the meeting, is that back in D or?
Oh, yeah, sorry. We'll have to go back to D to talk about that, sorry. I didn't have any notes in the folder about it.
Okay, so nothing under J?
I don't have anything unless someone else does.
Okay, let's go back up to D then. What you got?
Okay, so, well, for the meeting, I was able to speak with all the chiefs. So October 14th, the Texas A&M Force Service had their largest budget meeting as of yet. So, out of all the volunteer fire departments in the county, total, we were awarded 5 ski units, $45,000 a piece on those. So those were paid for 100% by the Forest Service. We were also awarded a large brush truck and 3 tankers.
And say that again?
So 5 skid units, those would be basically the pumps and the water tanks that are on the back of the small brush trucks.
Right, but my point is there contingent upon putting a truck underneath them?
No, that's what I'm getting at. So all 5 departments have trucks that these skid units will replace old ones with. So we'll pull the old stuff off, these new ones go on in place of those existing trucks.
What's wrong with the old ones?
They're just old, some of them 10, 12 years old.
Do they work?
They're pieced together. So that was the reason the grants were put in, and also the reason they were awarded, so.
Okay, I just, I mean, they're good, but,
Yeah, they're in their life. So they're spending more on them than.
So what do we do with them?
Can we sell them?
Can we sell them? Do we trash them? Do we put them across?
Most of them, they're made out of plastic, so they're not steel anymore. So most of the time we take them down to the county commissioner and they put them in the dumpster, the tanks. I mean, if the tanks are leaking or anything like that, it'll be up to the board. So they're over 10 years old, so they don't fall into the Forest Service anymore or anything like that. So
How big are the tanks?
anywhere from 3 to 400 gallons. So.
And the skid units are 100%.
They're 100%. They're giving each DFD $45,000 to basically re-equip their truck for fire suppression. And of course, it's been, in the past, they've requested the board to pay for it up front and then reimbursed.
And how many, you say, how many brush trucks?
The departments are 90 North, Bear Creek, Cave Area, Oakhurst, and Pumpkin Number.
180, Bear Creek,
Cave Area, Oakhurst, and Pumpkin Number.
We didn't print out the page.
The skills are very, very long, so they're highlighted ones. Just to note also, even though Walmart was not part of us, they did get a skid unit and a tanker also. So county-wide, there's quite a few more.
So you said we got 5 skid units and what else?
Okay, 1 large brush truck, so Shepherd Fire got a large brush truck. It was a 9-5-5 split on cost share. So we would, so 265, we'd have to spend 278, 250.
How much?
278, 250.
278,000.
$250.
250.
To get it at 265 back. So at the end of the day, that large brush truck will cost the board $13,250.
And a small brush truck, you said?
Large brush truck.
So did we get a small one?
No, just a large.
Okay, just one large. And how many tankers?
So it's 13,250.
13,250. So, with that being said, Chief Jenkins and I spoke, and they are willing to give up a 2018 brush truck to the ESD, since we'll need one, and to start with those trucks. So they'll end up with a new brush truck, and the board will end up with the older truck to run for the new crew.
Okay, it's a large brush truck.
Large brush truck, correct, yes.
So I got 2 pictures here.
So, the larger ones. So 980 North, Camilla, and Oakhurst all got tankers. So, those are, again, 95 cost share. Their maximum grant each are 300,000. The issue with these trucks is you can't get one for $300,000. These trucks, which you see in the picture, are 550, 500. And these are the trucks that.
You're talking fast numbers, but who are the 3 people that got
Is 980 North,
180, okay?
Camilla,
Okay?
Oak Ridge.
Okay, and they got a $550,500 tanker for
So
$300,000.
300,000, so the difference will be the ESD's cost share.
So it'd be 250,500.
Well, no, so the deal is they're giving them $300,000, okay? So we've got to spend the $15,000 over that, so $300,000, 15. Okay, the problem is you can't buy a tanker for that. So we went to the vendor that we ordered the last two trucks from, and these are 3,000-gallon tankers, basically similar to the heavy gallon. 30,000 gallons. 3,000? 3,000, that's what we're running right now.
So we need 250, 500.
For the truck, for the three.
So we gotta pay 315
Here's the list.
plus 235. 235, 500,
So you can take the percentage right off that.
right?
That was a one.
Yeah, so basically what it works out is the board will pay 550, 500 for the truck, and then we get 300,000 of that back from the courses.
Okay. You're scratching my brain here.
Okay, so
Okay, so we pay that.
and we really the cost share doesn't matter at this point because if they pay.
Okay. So three, it says 300,000. That was what was.
That's $1,651,500.
Correct. That's how much
That we gotta raise check by this
Not
year.
so much that.
Right.
$1,651,000.
You get 900,000 of that back.
But I gotta come up with it first. That means.
So this is kind of a fear that we feared for years. You got the chiefs of the Asbury trucks, and they said, hey, we don't have that money this year. So they said, did you do a grant? Well, they did a grant. So 10 years later, they all get awarded that same grant in the same year. So,
Just a minute.
How long do you have to accept the grants?
okay, so that's the deal. You have to have everything purchased and turned in for reimbursement within 12 months. The issue is that these trucks are long out. US Fire agreed that if we were to go ahead and sign a contract for the three trucks, it would take them 90 days to build them, and we pay $490. So technically, after the first. So we make sure that.
Yeah, but I have the money right now for some of it.
Yeah, but you don't have agreements in place with the fire departments about funding, Michael.
That's true.
But we're still in this fiscal year and we're using the same procedures. So we can't
We
do
do,
both.
yeah, we do it next, have all the agreements to the departments, have them approved next month, don't we?
Okay, wait a minute. What did I say?
No, these ones are not the out of the money, so 3% of it, if you get 12 months, there's no sense at all.
And there were so many.
2026, I have to 10, 2026. So
That's the total scenario.
You normally get a 6-month extension, but with this grant specifically, there's no extension.
And so many people throughout Texas got these awards that everybody's gonna be fighting for the same trucks.
Okay, so we've already got 3 lined up.
We got 3 lined up, all we have to do is, so the HGAC contract, just like the last truck you bought from US Fire, all we have to do is sign the contract. They actually have one in stock right now. Camilla has been looking at it for months. The issue is it's got a lot of extra stuff on it, and there's some fittings on there and stuff like that. So the salesman basically said, we can sign the contract, order 3, they can deliver on in 90 days.
So the other large unit for Shepherd?
Chief Jenkins wants to go through this vendor, he wants to kind of shop around and see what he can get, what type of truck, so they want to design that one. So we're working, to see what he can do. He's got guys calling to Pierce. And, yeah, so since Martin, 2 other companies, we haven't received any calls back yet. So.
This bottom picture is that.
It's only have 2 views. It's 3,000 gallons, and so where we go, if we look at what we bought in the past, Cape Area Fire and Bear Creek. Cape Area's engine, which is an engine tanker, and Bear Creek's, which is the one that's in Oak Ridge now, they're 2,000 gallon trucks. They have no room for tools, and they're 1,000 less gallons of water. There's basically stripped down water trucks. Right now, those $2,000 trucks are going for $150,000.
Okay, so this guy right here,
Yeah, so every one of those compartments on each side of the truck, that's why we get each same truck. So you've got all those compartments. This is your dump tank on the side. That comes with that, what we call pump tank.
The other thing we talked to Chief Brown is one thing we're concerned about, he's supposed to be checking that through, is where the suction line is. It's 8 foot up in the air. Since it's tender, we want to bring it down, move the panic ladder and pipe poles up there and bring the suction line down low, so we're not climbing up on the truck to get the suction line.
So one side, if you look at the upper picture, that suction hose that's up on top of the truck is mounted to that hydraulic unit, so it comes down. There you go. So this unit comes down. But what he's speaking of is on the driver's side, you'll see above the ladders, you'll see the suction hose. It's about 7 to 8 feet up there. So what they're saying, the truck they've got currently now, if we buy it, we're gonna have to pay them to move stuff. But if we don't buy that one and we buy all three at the same time, we can make those adjustments for that same price as they're assembling the truck.
They will do that.
They will do that.
In writing.
Yes. Yeah, as he said, as soon as we get the contract, they will do
So it's
that.
concerned because shit, I'm 63 years old, and I'm seeing me climb up and pull it.
I ain't gonna climb up there like that.
Suction line.
And there's pictures on their website of them actually doing that type of stuff.
These are also cool because they put the air packs, your SCBA goes on the side of the truck above the wheels.
what's left in our budget?
We don't have, this would not be in this year's budget.
If I write the check this year, it's in this year's budget.
There's nowhere, I would possibly like.
We have contingency money.
We do, but we don't have to pay for 90 days when they're ready.
Yeah, you don't have to see.
So we would have 2026 tax number by then. We're talking January, February.
Okay, so right now I got $1,991,000 left in the budget. Now, granted, that's money that we're not going to spend.
It's kind of understanding that we are going to spend also.
Yeah, but, there's several hundred thousand that is not.
If you count the tower construction.
Right, which is going to pay for the rest.
That's right, so we don't.
Okay.
That's pretty much all of our.
So we got $1,991,000, and right now, I've got
Because we're about to buy a $500,000 factory next month.
we got a road check to that.
Yes, sir. This is not until January, February with new tax.
Okay, just a minute. Okay.
So we're gonna spend what's left in the. It's okay, that's what we got the contingency for. That's pretty cool. Sure. That by the time these trucks are ready, we'll have 2026 tax money, and the way that it's falling, we get most of our money in December, January, February, so that will be around the time that this is ready. January, February.
Right, classified as a 2026 expense, right?
Correct, 2026 expenses. So we did a motion?
So we put $1,651,651 into the apparatus budget this year, next year?
Next year.
For 26?
Next year.
We put $1,600,000 just in apparatus. And we're gonna get $900,000 back?
That's right. But that's just the 3 tankers, the big brush trucks, you need to put that in too.
Yeah, 13,000 for the big brush truck.
Well, you gotta pay the whole.
Yeah, we gotta pay the whole.
Yeah, you gotta pay the whole.
So I gotta pay another,
1.7 million will be spent.
no, I gotta pay 265 times, no, I gotta pay 278, 250
And you have to pay
times 3. Just a minute. 111, 220.
Chief, have you talked to all these departments that are getting these handouts? And they're all willing to?
Yeah, that's what we're looking at to see which manufacturer we want to go with. We're going to call the wildfire in Nevada right now. So a couple of them will be easy. They just screw bolts that come out wiring. It's easy. There's a couple, I believe 980 and Oakridge, they're kind of mounted in there. So we'll get with the vendor and the truck will probably go to them and have it swapped.
I thought Case unit had some issues, and you talked to.
Yeah, correct, yeah, we've talked to some, yeah, so they're all, I talked to all the chiefs and they're willing to swap and like I said, you know, they're, like Bear Creek, I think it was it's on 2014. Oak Ridges and 980 are quite old also. So yeah, everybody's on board with swapping out their car.
I think everybody's reaching a 10-year FPA.
Yeah.
It's 16, I think, the new one compared to those.
But these new ones will be coming out to make that big turn in 2 years.
Correct.
You gotta come up with $2.5 million.
What did you say? Yeah, he had the math on.
Yeah, wow. $2.5 million.
But some of that will be coming back, right?
Yeah, you're gonna get.
Yeah, but you still got come
Right,
check.
Right it up. I say, you know.
1.7 of that.
Pretty good deal.
I think if we have to go make a temporary limit, we should do it. We should not pass up on
Oh,
this.
no.
Yeah,
I'm gonna see a good deal.
and like I said, all the budget funds come in the budget front, and we'll get them back before we need them at the end. So, it should work out perfectly that the tax money will fall away from ourselves.
Yeah, you're gonna see us going.
You're doing the math, Mike. You're gonna, do the motion. You wanna,
I make a motion that we accept all the new Texas Forest Service allotted grants. We cover our portion, the ESD portion, and get all these items on the road. The funding will be coming from our contingency if needed.
How big do you think the contingency is?
Whatever we need there. If I need to amend that,
Can you say that it will come out of the 2020, that it will be addressed in 2026 funds, because that, we won't pay for it till 2026.
okay, that's fine.
Do you want to say pending getting the lien agreements in place at the departments?
No, do not.
So you want to just give the material to the departments
The
that no strings
departments that
attached?
share do, they apply one is that, that's how I can receive. Yes.
Everybody else cool with that? The district's taking no lien interest in all the money you're putting in there?
I'm not interested in not doing the lien interest. You know, I think, you know, if we do it, we put a lien interest in it so that it can't be sold, given away, whatever.
That's my concern, yeah.
And, just to let you guys know, all right, we gotta come up with what did I say? $2.5 million, okay? And you're gonna just use the contingency. You use the contingency. Folks, then we got nothing. We got no contingency. We wiped it out. Now we're gonna get some money back. That's correct. But we're wiping out a lot of money. So we're getting 3 skid units, 5 skid units. Miss those guys. So they're free though. Yeah. We don't have to pay any money for those.
We have to pay for them.
We don't need that.
So how much are we paying up front?
$45,000 each.
Oh, I missed that one. Somebody slipped that number right by me.
$225,000.
Thank you. I was sitting there. So now it's 2.7 million, give or take, and change.
Denise, how quick is the turnaround with the Forest Service?
Because this is such a large award, we're expecting maybe 3 months. Once we get everything turned in, I would think that we would get our money back within 30 days.
I spoke with Christine today, and she said the faster you get in, the better for all of us.
That's why we're trying to get this done now, because we're trying to get ahead of all these other departments that are gonna be doing the same thing.
Okay, but the awards were on the names of departments.
Correct.
So if there's no agreements in place,
If there's no agreements right now.
I know.
I prefer it come in that way. It stays that way until we work on these agreements later. If that is holding me to move
if
forward.
I can complete my sentence, if there's no agreement in place, the district writes the 2.7 or whatever Michael just said. If there's no agreement in place, when the grants come into the departments don't have to give you back the money.
The grant, if we pay up front, they do pay us back.
Not if there's not an agreement in place, ma'am. There'd be nothing to enforce that. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, their portion, their checks.
Okay.
That's the ESD.
That's right.
There's no one out there I've ever seen that's happened to.
I'm your lawyer, not your minister. I talk about law, not faith. If you want to go on faith, then vote to go on faith. But I would be a miscarriage of my job, and I tell you.
That's never happened in this ESD. The checks have come to the district.
Is that true? We've never done any kind of agreements?
I put a lien on the large brush truck.
That's what I thought too, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with, Mr. Peter on this.
You put a lien for the ESD, but their title is still in their name. Correct. I'm agreeable with that. That's all.
That's all he said.
I'm agreeable with the lien.
But you have to have an agreement in place for that, otherwise there's nothing to force that. That's what I asked.
Yeah, you gotta add that to it.
You want to hold a lien against it, but I still prefer it in their name.
So we're not going to the large brush truck.
The grant says it has to be in their name, I know that.
Because the grant didn't cover the truck, kind of like this, like these tankers. When I went and filed the paperwork, I put the ESD as first lien holder.
Add to it that we're putting lien on it. Mark, we're fixing to vote.
We're on the same page. You just need a recess for a moment.
5 minutes, everybody take 5.
At 8:41.
At 20:41. I need to go back into this.
Sorry, we're on the same page, we're just talking crosswalks. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah, there's no house.
What side go down? It is. Denise, please read the motion back.
We have a motion by Commissioner Russell to accept all grants from the Texas Forest Service that will include 5 skid units, a large brush truck, and 2 tankers, and for the ESD to pay the difference out of 2026 money, and with the ESD reimbursed from the different homes.
How much was the large brush truck? 25,000. I never heard a number for the large brush truck.
278,250.
I thought I had that. Okay, so we have 3 of those?
One of those.
Okay,
You got 5 skid units at 45,000 each.
got it.
You got 1 large brush truck at 278,250.
Okay.
Then you got 3 tankers at 550,500 each.
Okay, do we have any
Buy board or HVAC fees involved in this?
No.
But they will all be on cooperative.
Yeah, we're all under it.
And we'll have to double check that depending on what's.
Okay, let me do it about somewhat of a pain, but.
You guys really would want to
I want to make sure I got it correct. I got 5 at 45 each, which is 225. I got 1 brush truck, 278, 250, right?
Yeah, a large brush, which is basically.
250. I've got 3 tankers at 550, 500, which is 1651, 500. 1651, 500. And then I've got.
That's it.
That's it. So, wait a minute, I've got, okay, so on the brush trucks, on the 3 brush trucks, I'm getting, I'm sorry, on the 3 tankers, I'm getting 300 apiece, right? Right. 300 one's through. Okay, what am I getting?
265.
And I'm getting 265.
And 35 on the streets.
And 45, but that's 225.
Yeah, 225 back on the streets.
Let's see, 1.7, what I'm getting back. Okay, so does that include the lien paperwork or however?
Yes, it is on the top.
I just hate kiss that contingency goodbye. I mean, I know we're getting stuff for it, but
Because we would have budgeted 500,000 in apparatus fund.
exactly.
So it would really only be about 400 or so more.
And I've got no problems with spending contingency, except I also, we want to keep 6 to 9 months in reserve, and now we have 1.7 or something in reserve, and that's not 6 months.
But the good thing is all the tax money will be coming in around the time we have to pay this, so we basically just be borrowing it from ourselves. Until the foresight gets that.
I know it's a lot of equipment, man.
I just want to understand,
are we good?
We have the motion.
We do have a motion.
I'll second the motion. Any more discussion on it? More discussion? We did. All in favor? Mike, in favor? Yeah. 3-0.
Thank you all.
All right. That was D, right? We just finished that D.
And now we'll be on K.
Okay. Review and act on real estate and claims related to district interest in real estate.
Mr. Peeler, what item can we talk about, or can we talk about in the local agreement between the city on the facility?
I can go over concerns in closed session with the board, but there's no action item for it tonight. I mean, they just sent it to us today, we didn't know.
Yeah.
What is that for, so we need closed session?
Yes, sir, we'll need to meet in closed session to consult with legal counsel, yeah.
Okay.
So I don't have any item under K, L, or N unless anybody else does.
Okay, that is,
No, we can't right now, it's just.
okay, that is review and act on contract with fire suppression and EMS providers, including amendment, renewal, and cancellation of contracts, nothing there. M is review and act on matters related to the coverage of district territory for emergency services, including fire suppression and EMS, including agreements with independent volunteer fire departments regarding the ownership of capital assets and designation of personnel, nothing there. And number 14 is request for funds and bill pays. Do we want to?
Can I ask a question about the district treasurer's, okay, so we just bought all this apparatus. And what is the status on the consolidation effort?
I think that's what we're going to be talking about in closed session. No?
No, I don't have anything for you on that in closed session.
So, it's my understanding that some consolidation has already started.
We're working on contract.
We're working on contracts and inventory, but we do have at least some sort of negotiation with all the departments.
And the department, so it's not done yet. We don't have anyone that's done it.
No, but it's not for lack of them not wanting to, it's for lack of us not having all paperwork and the assignment agreements ready to be presented. We just have too much going on.
Well, I talked a little bit about that today.
I'm waiting until after these grants and not because they obviously have to be a fire department to get it.
Okay.
All right. Does anybody have anything for closed session?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to do bill pay.
So do we want to do bill?
You should do bill pay first.
We'll do bill pay first and then, go ahead.
Check number 10378 to 10403, including items paid with no check required. The very first check, we had one person that their direct deposit was not set up when we did the very first one of payroll. So paper checks have to be written. Since then, everyone has signed up for their deposit, so they can need for more of that. You notice safety dues went up from $1,100 to $2,500 per year. Wow. The Allegiant seniors, we got to approve those for FRO. Brian and I both had to come out of pocket for some things because I had to put fuel in the G-Crew fire truck because our credit card kind of said, what are y'all doing? Because they're not used to us, doing things with credit card like we were. So anyway, it fraud protected us, and so they couldn't use the credit card, so I had to put it on my personal card. Brian O'Reilly's go buy something, the credit card denied it, so he had to pay for it with his personal card. So we had some hiccups, but we have since fixed all that. It was just part of the what do you call it, growing pains of something. So anyway, the rest of the departments are all still within their budget, and that's all I have.
So Shepherd's done tonight.
Yes, that'll be the last.
We'll do the bill pay first and then we'll, go into closed session.
So $1,600 for duty crew shirts.
Well, it wasn't just that, it was, decals for trucks. But each, duty crew member had to be, given, t-shirts, so you had to order 50 shirts.
Yeah, something like that, and plus the eye shirts.
Yeah.
Also.
They look good too.
But before that, they were wearing just whatever department they worked for, and so it wasn't very professional.
Yeah, they look good now.
Okay.
Everything is budgeted.
86,000 on paid without check.
Yeah, but only 64 in checks.
Wow. So is duty crew paid without check, or is it?
It won't be on here because these are all September and they didn't get their first check until October 1. But that's why I've been giving you guys a screenshot of payroll so that you know exactly what's going on. And I'll continue to do that until y'all tell me to stop.
Yeah, and that's why I moved that money in there to cover payroll. I move we pay the bills. Pay the checks.
I think other than that.
Alright,
And
pay bills and go to closed session.
checks.
Say that again?
Normally we'll take a break and look at the parties, get their checks, and then go sign, and then.
We'll take a break. And,